Welcome to Fireteam Chat, IGN's Destiny show. I am Jose Otero. I am joined by Destin Laguirre.
No Fran this week. Fran's out at San Diego.
No,
yet
R.I.P.
again.
Fran.
Is that 2 weeks in a row?
He's got to work on his tan and that beautiful, beautiful hair.
Beautiful hair. That's a good point.
This week on the podcast, we are talking about the weekly update and some of the new details on the Taken King. Some cool stuff in there. Mm-hmm. And then we're going to discuss, this was the week. This was Bungie Days this week. So we're going to talk a little bit about moments of triumph and what that means, and even look back a little bit on the history of Bungie Day and sort of compare that to what we've gotten from Bungie in the past. Mm-hmm. But first, before we kick off the show...
Yeah, so we got to plug our store, go.ign.com/store, where you can get Fireteam Chat shirts. And we've seen some people in the Facebook group actually bought these, and they look really good.
Yeah, they do look really awesome. Yeah, our logo, Eric Sapp crushed on our logo.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah,
really happy with that. And if you want your own, just hit up that store link.
Cool. Well, there you have it, folks. Now, let's kick things off then with the weekly update, which came out on July 10th, and some cool stuff in there regarding the Taken King, regarding, okay, well, guess what, guys? We are revamping quests. We are revamping UI. Why don't you talk a little bit about it? What excites you so far and what you've seen from it?
So it seemed like this update was all about UI and how they're listening to what fans have asked for and doing some things to improve it, including adding like a quest tracker showing how far you are in quest. Yet again, another bump in your inventory or quest slots, or bounty slots.
There you go, bounty slots. You meant, yeah.
And that's really good. And now when you bring out your ghost, you're going to be able to track the progress and stuff like that, and that's cool. How do you feel about it?
I think these are really smart. I mean, if there's one thing that was a bummer in a game that you can't pause, really, is that whenever you had to retreat into options to find, like, hey, bounties, or hey, how am I doing on this particular, thing that I'm working on, this quest that I'm working on. And it felt like the quest section in general was very underutilized, right? Even where inventory is, there's a section underneath it. I think it's called missions. Yeah. What is that for?
So they had like... one time when the Queen showed up, there was story missions or Queen missions, and they went over there.
That's the only time they've been there?
And I think there was one other time they used it, but for the most part, no. It's just not utilized, so it doesn't really make sense why it's there to me.
And even things like... there are certain items that, like, consumables you can't dismantle, and you almost wonder, well, why aren't these in the mission slot if it's like a key, for example, something like that. Like, I don't know if that's the best example. But getting back on topic, I like the idea of, okay, here's from that page, from the update, we're increasing the number of bounties, like you said, that every player can carry. Both quest and bounty slots will be tracked in the HUD. That's important. Like, I don't have to get out of the game to see that stuff.
Yeah.
I like this one a lot. Completed bounties will be turned in from the quest screen.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's interesting because that means I don't have to fly back to the tower just to turn this stuff in.
That's really, really
At the end of the day, visiting the tower should be to pick things up, not so much to drop things off unless it's quest-related. In a quest-related sort of structure,
you still have to pick up
with that.
You still have to pick up quests in the tower, though, from Eris or from the bounty bot.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. I can do that. I can even check what's there on my phone. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I like that idea. And then reputations will be moved from inventory to the quests page. So quests will be blown up. They're going to have their own page. You can find screenshots of some of this stuff, and this information was shared via creative director Luke Smith.
Yeah, they're letting him talk.
Nice work
still.
So far.
They didn't mute him.
They should.
They didn't put him in a duffel bag and throw him down
Thank
some
goodness.
stairs.
Thank goodness. Now Luke's too cool for that.
And this is it is noted that this is the first update of many to come. So today they focused on UI. And we've talked about value of the Taken King before, so we have to remember that with this update, they're talking about UI, they're talking about how they're improving quests and stuff like that. There's still not a lot of meat about the Taken King here. This is just, hey, here's how we're changing our interface.
Yep.
How do you feel about it?
I still feel like they have a lot to prove on the value front, but there's a lot of time to do it.
Yeah.
So
so why do you think they started with the UI? Like, why something so small?
I think you have to start small. Like, that ties into a little bit to Bungie Day, actually, because I feel like Bungie Day, when we talk about it later in the past, has been used to sort of reveal new information or to show new videos or to show new stages. We're going to talk about it later, but cold storage was a level that you can download in Halo 3 that you got on Bungie Day. Yeah. Like, cool things like that. And this week, I have to say, for Taken King, I was hoping for something a bit meatier. Yeah. And instead, they, put out a weekly update where they talked about the UI. And I think you do start small, but Bungie Day is once a year. And so part of me can't help but feel a little disappointed by that.
What really bugs me is that there's like no in-game events that ever happen. Like, why didn't they set up their game so like they could have Easter bunnies running around in the world or something like that?
You want
like,
an Easter bunny, or you just mean in general something special?
Goofy or special, because like every other MMO, I know it's not an MMO, Bungie, but and Bungie fans, but like every other MMO does that. They have where they can just insert stuff or give everybody bunny ears. Final Fantasy 14 does it. They give people like fireworks.
We'll
and
even
stuff
go back
like that.
to like, I mean, did you ever play Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast?
Or give people like the pumpkin heads and the bats. That was cool. Those were consumables that you got on Halloween.
Yeah.
You know, it's just strange.
I agree with that, and I guess we should transition over. But before I do that, I will say, no, I think there's more. There's definitely a lot of time to prove that, to show what else is going to be special about this. What are you doing with weapons? How much of this content is available to people who aren't upgrading, and how much more is available to people who are?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that they have to say, and I wouldn't be surprised if between now and this is a September release, right? That we see that lineup of Twitch streams again, where it's just a month long of here's this part of it, here's that part of it, here's this part of it.
That would be cool.
I hope we get more sooner than later, but I have a funny feeling we're going to be waiting a while.
Yeah.